Hello guys and welcome to the final round of the Simpit ACC League here, hosted by simracing.gp. There's only 3 guys currently in the server at the moment. We are in free practice. Unfortunately, we did have 2 servers fail on launching for us tonight, so that's why we are a little bit late. But the guys are currently out on track, just getting the cars all sorted for today's race. We will now join over to them and see how everyone's doing. So the cars are out on track. I'm just going to make sure that our overlay systems are working, so give me one moment, guys. That's the only problem about having our system. As we see, Mr. Brandon Skinner's now got into the server as well. So we'll have to adjust a few things. So unfortunately, we will have a bit of an issue here whilst I do this. Just bear with me one moment. And we'll have the stream up and running, hopefully working in the correct order like they should be. If not, I am going to go mad and start punching stuff, but I shouldn't have to. We are meant to be connected to it, so hopefully we'll have some cars going on soon, and the tower will start working. If not, we will have to move the tower about on my end, so it will activate. Ah, here we go. This is not activated because it was not shown on my end, that's why. So give me one moment, guys. And I'm going to bring all the other items of information out onto the screen for you to see. So, just going to move a couple of these about just so they show. Hopefully the guys will stay with us for tonight, just because it's the final round. There we are. We have the camera systems all working. So, currently on board with Mr. Callum McLeod. We'll switch over to Mr. Heiko from his inboard view. So it's going up to the end of practice nearly, and then we're going straight into qualifying. And then we have our 40-minute race, 45-minute race tonight with a mandatory pit stop. The cars will be racing out from the night into the morning, so it should be a very nicely graphical view for you guys tonight. So guys, this is like I said, this is the final round of the ACC League for the Simpit. This is the end of Season 1. Season 2 announcements should be up shortly with what tracks we're going to, what car class we're going to be doing, and also the new start time and day that we'll be taking racing. We are looking at making it more inclusive for everyone, especially the stateside, as we do know that some of these days and times can be a bit really hard for some guys to make. So we will be hopefully making it more suitable for everyone to take part. So Mr. Heiko goes off. Callum McLeod's gone off. I think the guys just pushing a little bit too hard because the track is in fast. As we see, Mr. John Crane is in the pit lane as well. Mr. Brandon Skinner is out on there at the moment on a lap. As Mr. Callum McLeod does put the fastest lap in of a 2:25.6. So Callum's just gone off in the background there. I think he's just going to make sure his tyre pressure's right. So we'll go on board here with Mr. Brandon Skinner. as he goes off for a lap in the Aston Martin. Oh, we just had Mr. Heiko disconnect from the server. So I'm just going to hop into the chat and see what's going on. So guys, I've now just finished free practice now. I've just gone into the start of qualifying. As you can see, the track is now in pure darkness, so this should be fine. Guys, enjoy. So I'm just going to check for Mr. Booth a minute how long we've got left, just because he wants to get in. Unfortunately, my timing scroll looks weird. Here we go. So guys, one of the main guys from the Sim booth, Devon Booth from the Simpit, is looking to join. And also, he's got to set up his VR, but he wants to come in and join. So we might. So just keep. So yeah, we're just gonna see if we can get Mr. Booth in. If we can. So we'll have to make an announcement to guys. I'm gonna hold them on the grid for a little bit longer than normal, maybe. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on some bits a minute, guys. So I do apologise. I will put the autopilot on now, so it should trick between different views and different cars. So I'll bring up the qualifying personal best deltas, so we can see how each person's doing out on the circuit. So as we look at Mr. Heiko Schumann in his BMW. By the way, guys, tomorrow I am taking part in the Coach Dave 1000 on driving for SG Stern. Unfortunately, I won't be streaming myself, but the event is being streamed live on YouTube. I don't know if our split's going to be shown at all, but I am in the AM split for that one. As we just as we go across the line, Mr. Am Friday is in the pits, so we'll switch over to Mr. Callum Cloud. Also on Sunday, myself, Mr. Callum McLeod, who's on the screen right now, and Mr. Heiko Sherman are taking part in the 3-hour race at Pool Card with Aris Drives, who's obviously the head developer for ACC. We will be doing that in the BMW M2 CS, so we'll be taking part in the most lowest class car. So we will be going just straight tonight, so we just have the 5 drivers taking part. As Mr. Devon Booth has said, not worry, because he hasn't had much practice at all, plus also he doesn't want to jump in because also he's just got VR, so everything will be completely different to him, and he doesn't want to cause any issues, and he doesn't want us to hold up, so full respect to him on that one. So at the moment, currently on pole is Mr. Callum McLeod in the McLaren. Followed by Mr. Heiko Sherman, as Adam Friday's just disconnected. Hopefully you're going to be able to get back in before the end of qualifying. So everyone's actually now currently slower on their lap times. I don't know if it's because they've been coming in and out of the pits. But we will stay on board with a couple of cars. I'm personally going to take a short break quickly just before we start. So I'll leave you on board with the guys. The cameras will automatically change, so keep an eye on it, and I'll be back shortly. And I'm back, guys. Thank you for staying with us. So Mr. Heiko Sherman's gone faster. Mr. Ken Estep has finally joined us as well. So we've got 6 cars now on the grid. Mr. Adam Farrelly has been able to reconnect. So, gentlemen, ladies who are watching, I will go over the current standings of the championship. Currently in first place, and I do believe, if you have a look at me one moment, 25 points. I do believe if Mr. Heiko Sherman unfortunately disconnects tonight, or completely DNFs out the race. Yep, so if Heiko Sherman does this, have a disconnect and not able to rejoin, he will lose the championship to John Crane. It's the only way Mr. John Crane can win. Mr. Heiko Sherman is on 101 points. Mr. John Crane is on the 77 points. Actually, give me 1 second. No, my maths is incorrect. No, I do apologise. My maths is not incorrect. So, Mr. Heiko Sherman on 101. John Crane on 77. Callum McLeod on 48 points. Mr. Ken Estep on 44. Alan Friday's on 37. Brandon Skinner, who's with us tonight, is on 18 points. And the other drivers who have not turned up. So, Mr. Brandon Skinner will jump up quite a way because he's down in 9th place currently in the standings. He will be able to jump up through the points. But all depends on tonight if Heiko has a disconnect. Well, I don't think it's going to happen. There must be some sort of mechanical issue that he cannot get out and race tonight. That doesn't mean he wins the championship. So guys, as you can see, we're just got over halfway now through qualifying. We're on board currently, Mr. Alan Friday. Has he gone a little bit too wide there? I'm just having a look through my deltas. Just seeing what we have a look at. So I've just put myself a speed trap that will show us the speeds as they come down into Les Combes. Starting on Friday, it's just coming through Stavro, coming into Curve Paul Ferret. Very nice camera. This is right on the splitter of this Lexus. So we hear that V8 thundering along. As we go over to Mr. Kenneth up in the Ferrari. So Callum McLeod is currently fast on the lap. I don't know if it's going to be by much. He will have to gain a very big time. Callum on 2 minutes 2:23. Mr. Heiko Sherman is on a 2 minutes 21.4. So you have to gain quite a bit of time. Unfortunately, the lap is slower this time around. So guys, I am struggling a little bit tonight. I'm not feeling that great. I've also been doing a lot of practice for myself for my races that have come up over this weekend. That obviously, as I said, Mr. Callum McLeod and Mr. Heiko Sherman are racing with me over the weekend on the Sunday. To go through a few things tonight. Just changing a few things at my end. Bear with me. So as always guys, the insights here, the lovely telemetry that we're seeing on the board of the guys in the bottom right corner, the leaderboard on the top left and also the fastest lap board across the top of the screen are brought to you by the lovely people at ACC TV. As you see, Mr. Callum McLeod currently off track. Looks like he's gone off at Pouon. So the back of the car's just stepped out on him. This is now a look back from Alan Friday as we just see Callum in the background there. He's come back onto the circuit. Mr. Alan Friday getting very loose there. That Lexus acting then more of a drift car than a GT3 track car. Getting very loose. Mr. Brendan Skinner's currently in the pit lane. Everyone else is out on track, trying to get this lap time in. I'm going to currently pick one of our used colours, just to change up the leaderboard colours to our colours. What's the Simpit? We can go with orange tonight, or we can go with blue. This is the last race of the season. We'll go with blue ones for tonight. This is a nice cool evening in game. We're also going to turn off the cameras just so it just shows who we are on board with. So Mr. Friday has gone up into 4th place. Not quite full throttle there. In some cars it is very easy to go flat out through a rouge on a Pova radial. Some cars it's not. That's a lovely view of all the cars with the headlights on now. I do believe Mr. Ken Estep has his full endurance lights on tonight. So Brandon Skinner's currently going slow on track. Going to switch over to him, see where he is on track. It does show he's going slow, but that's definitely not a slow lap. He's definitely taking some speed there. So we'll click over to Mr. John Crane in the Ferrari. Yes, Mr. John Crane has his full endurance lights on tonight. Guys would like to get as much lights as possible going on the circuit. As now we look back from Mr. Ken Estep's car. See Mr. Adam Friday behind him on circuit. So just coming up to 3 minutes left of qualifying. Mr. Heiko Sherman is still in the pit lane. I do believe he is not going to come back out. If he was going to come back out, he would need to be out on track right now to get around to start another lap. Unfortunately, this is the only problem about having our connections across the world. So Adam Friday did dirty his lap there. That's why you can see his box has, even though he's got time up, it is dirtied. That's why it's no longer in white. So Mr. Adam Friday, I would have preferably wanted to drop back there, but Mr. Ken Estep has got out of the way. I believe Ken has said he's not made to go any faster. We'll have a look on board with Mr. Callum McLeod in McLaren. We hear Mr. Adam Friday's backing out of his lap. I believe he might have dirtied his lap coming up over Radion. Callum is currently up on his time. Mr. Heiko Sherman now seems to be on the move. He is coming along Camel straight, but I don't think he's going to get onto a lap before the end of qualifying. We'll switch back over to Mr. Callum Cloud. Back from his splitter. Looking forward now. So guys, I'm just clicking through our cameras just to see what ones we have active for tonight. So Mr. John Crane, Mr. Adam Friday and Mr. Ken Estep have returned to the pits. They are saying this is the best we can do. This Mr. Callum is half a second up at the moment. Half a second will unfortunately only keep him, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, only that half a second that he's up will only keep him in 3rd place. Go from a helmet camera from Mr. Callum McLeod right now. Directly see what the driver is seeing in the car. I do believe Callum Cloud tonight is also racing in VR, not racing on his triple monitors. Mr. Brandon Skinner is also up on his lap time at the moment. Callum is still up, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He's not going to start another lap in time either. So this will be the final lap of qualifying. Can Callum Cloud improve? He does improve, but not by enough. Callum Cloud is 1.2 seconds off of first place. Of the second place, sorry. So I see Mr. Brandon's going to come across the line. As the guys have now gone on to the formation lap. It is only a short formation lap tonight, so I will inform the guys. So, also doing that, I'll switch over to the track overlay so you can have a look, guys. And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. We just went in and had a quick word with the drivers to give them a heads up of information that they'll need to know for tonight's race. So I just need to go into game myself a minute, so give me 1 second, guys. So the guys are just waiting on grid. It is... The track is only still in fast conditions. The air temp is 22 degrees, the track temp is 22 degrees, so a very warm day here in Spa, especially considering it's 5 o'clock in the morning in game. There's currently a 3-kilometre wind here as well. Track is in sunny conditions. It does not look like there's going to be any rain today. So unlike last week at the Nürburgring where there was quite a randomness of how strong and weak the rain was, the guys tonight are going to find it a little bit easier. So we'll switch now back over to the live action in a minute. We're just waiting for the guys to roll off on the grid. So we'll head there over to them any moment now, as we'll get ready to watch them roll off the grid and start the last race of the season here at Spa. So we'll head over to the track now. The guys will be rolling off the grid any moment now. I'll be changing the information that you guys can see. We'll put it onto the gaps of the drivers. As you can see, the number 1 markers now board in orange. That is going to show if they haven't completed their mandatory stop or not. I will be keeping an eye on it because it is such a long pit lane today. They will have to come in at the very top, even though the pits are in the bottom side. Let's put it back for Brandon Skinner's wing, as the guys are now starting to move. do believe Mr. Kenneth that does not have his lights on. So I will go to chat quickly and let him know. Just give me a second. Ken, your headlights are not on. Please put your headlights on. Right, Mr. Kenneth now does have his headlights on. They are coming down to start. As it's green, green, green here at Spa-Francorchamps for the last race of the season. Here with the Simpit. Guys do look like they've filed up through nicely as the camera's perfectly changed to a rear wing camera here of Mr. Heike Sherman. Looking back at everyone. Just as Adam Friday has a little bit of desync from myself. Mr. Callum Cloud's not going to like that desync being in front of him, unfortunately. See if Mr. Callum Cloud can get back through. We'll click on board with his TV camera. Hopefully that desync is just from my end, is not so bad on his. So we'll have a look back through the field. Mr. Kenneth that is forward back already, unfortunately. I wonder if that's due to any coming off the track. Mr. Brandon Skinner, who's currently in the Aston Martin, pushing around in 5th place. We'll keep an eye on the leaders as well. Mr. John Crane looks like he's pulled back from Heiko in his Aston Martin. I'm definitely going to say one thing, his colours been nice and bright. We're definitely going to be able to see him out on track tonight. So there's a little change for 3rd and 4th. Other than that, we have been in the same positions from the start. So Mr. Heike Sherman 1st, John Crane 2nd, Alan Friday 3rd, Callum Cloud in 4th, Brandon Skinner in 5th, and Mr. Kenneth in 6th. So the pit window is not open yet for the guys. There is a 10-minute window for them to take their pit stop in. So, guys, complete that first lap here. You can see the lovely lighting of Spa, one of the most famous GT tracks in the world. Obviously started many years ago in F1 on a completely different layout. This track used to be very long. It's become short over the years. There has been a few changes to the track now in real life that we are waiting for the game to see if they're going to give us a new layout. There's not much been changed. Coming here through Les Combes. Mr. John Crane, he has gone fastest overall, looks like so far. So as they come down here into Bruxelles, this corner's now changed. This has been widened out. It has now have a gravel trap on the outside here. Coming into Speaker's Corner, or No Name. There's also another version of the track here for MotoGP. So Mr. Callum Cloud is right behind him. Mr. Adam Friday. We're going to go on board on this. Have a look at this battle, because this is a very tight battle going on here. Go down into Pool. A little bit of understeer, just got a little bit too much steering in there, Gavin. Doesn't look like he's now dropped back. He's dropped back half a second behind. Mr. Heike Sherman, on the other hand, has a 2.5 second lead over Mr. John Crane. I think this is Mr. Heiko's championship here. Because like I said, guys, the only way he cannot win this championship and he'll go to Mr. John Crane is if he has a disconnect and is not able to rejoin the race. It's the only way he is not going to win tonight. He can finish anywhere in the point standings and he will take the championship. This is a new fastest lap here, coming in just from Mr. Heiko Sherman of a 2:21.56. Excuse me. Mr. Callum McLeod is still closing tightly here. Mr. Adam Friday, I think, is he going to have the line here? I mean, to cut back. Oh, that was very close there between these two. Mr. Adam Friday has got off track. He will. Mr. Adam Friday has lost it coming back on over the top of Eau Rouge. Mr. Brandon Skinner looks like he's got involved in that. So we'll have to go back and have a look. So let's have a look back the last 30 seconds from Mr. Adam Friday. We'll click on board with the helicopter. We'll make sure it stays on helicam. Oh, this is, he's gone wide. And coming over the bump, he's got loose. Oh, he's put it into the wall. Did he come back across on track in front of... Oh, Mr. Brandon Skinner. Oh, no. Unfortunately, trying to avoid Mr. Adam Friday. And there's unfortunately went straight into the side of him as Mr. Adam Friday went from one side of the track to the other. Mr. Adam Friday has quite a bit of damage now to his car. Let's hope he's able to nurse that damage all the way up to the mandatory pit stop. Mr. Brandon Skinner is still rolling. He has a lot of damage to his front end now. As you see Mr. Ken Estep behind him. It's starting to get a bit lighter out there at Spa, Francorchamps. So Mr. Adam Friday has gone off again. I do believe that is from all the damage he's got. His car's now going to be very unstable to drive with all the damage because he's got front and back damage. He's going to have to take it very steady, or he's going to have to come in for an early pit stop. It's going to be absolutely damaging considering the pits take so long. It takes 90 seconds just to do a drive-through here. Mr. Brandon Skinner's going slow on track as well. He's just running a little bit wide. I do believe we're getting some false information coming through on ACC Drive here. Mr. Heiko Sherman did have a slower sector, but still not pushing it. Mr. Friday's still going around. He is getting shown yellow flags and errors, but he is still moving. Mr. Ken Estep has just come out the hairpin, that's why that was shown slow. I do believe we're getting false readings. Mr. Adam Friday's losing it again. He's got so much damage on that car. He's going to have to pit early and fix this damage on this car. I do believe he hasn't been given the meatball flag yet. If you don't know what meatball flag is, it's a black flag with an orange dot in the centre, as he is coming in for an early pit stop. So as we said, ladies and gentlemen, the pits are all the way down in the bottom of the pits. They're not up here in the top. So unfortunately for him, that is going to cause him time. We're going to jump up the front here, as Mr. John Crane is only 2 seconds behind Mr. Heiko Sherman. I think a moral victory here from Mr. John Crane will be just trying to beat Heiko, not sit behind him for this race. As we look now from his helmet camera, you can see exactly how much of a gap he does have. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we have said, next season for ACC we will be looking at a different format of these races. We'll be also looking at a new start time and start day. So they may no longer be on a Friday, they may be on a Saturday, they may be on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or a Thursday. We don't know yet. But one thing we will say is we are trying to get as many of the Simpit staff in the race as possible, also trying to get as more drivers in as possible. Hopefully get a really large grid going on. Also we'll be doing some special events on ACC during the off season, so do keep an eye on there. We will be dabbling into the Porsche Cup cars. We'll be dabbling into the TCX cars of the new BMW M2. We'll also be dabbling into GT4s as well, so keep an eye out. We will be doing some special short events, and that we'll also do some long ones. Brandon Skinner's coming to the pits as well. I believe that's to fix his damage as well. The pits are currently closed. They'll open up at the 27 and a half minute mark. So he has come in a little bit early, but if the car is undrivable, then unfortunately there's nothing he can do about it. He will have to fix that damage, but I do believe his damage will be very much less than Mr. Alan Friday. So Brandon Slick can still retain 5th place here, as Mr. Alan Friday is still in the pit lane. So currently coming through the speed trap we have set at the end of Les Comp, Mr. Brandon Skinner has got a yellow flag. I believe he is currently, yes, he's going to the yellow flag, even though he is cruising along the pit straight nice and steady, just like he should. Mr. Alan Friday is out the pits. He is on the move. As we switch over back over to the lead. So as I said, guys, we will be looking at new times to starting, but going back to the speed as well. But currently the fastest car coming into Les Comp was the chicane at the top of the hill, just after the Camel Straight, with Mr. John Crane, who's the fastest in there with 261 kilometers an hour. Heiko Sherman only 1 kilometer an hour slower at 260. Third place is Mr. Third Place himself, Mr. Callum McLeod, with 255 kilometers coming in. Then it's Mr. Ken Estep with 253 kilometers an hour. Then Mr. Adam Friday, he's currently down in 6th place. His top speed is 245 coming into Les Comp. Mr. Brandon Skinner, he's the one with the slower speed of 238 kilometers an hour. Coming into the chicane at the end of this street that you are seeing on board the hit, well, from the view of Mr. Heiko Sherman. So just before the braking zone here is where that time zone is. As again, on that lap alone, Mr. John Crane was 2 kilometers an hour faster. I'm going to switch back over to Mr. Brandon Skinner has just disconnected. I wonder if he's retired his car. Let's put up Mr. Adam Friday, hence why his name's gone green. I wonder if he's retired the car, just due down to how much damage and how far behind he's going to be. As you can see, he is getting much lighter here now at Spa-Francorchamps. So in game right now, it is currently 4:56 AM. So we do have a ×2 multiplier on for today's race. So yes, our race is 45 minutes, but our race in game is a 90-minute race by the weather and the sun rising. So we went from dark, as you can see it's quite a cloudy morning, but that should clear up. As you can see, the sun just coming over the clouds there in the forest, over the far end. So currently with 31 minutes remaining, we've got just 4 minutes until the pit lane will open, as Heiko has gone faster again for 21.0. Mr. Callum McLeod has gone off track. He looks like he's completely lost it there, under braking, coming in to the bus stop. Let's go back on board with him. Let's see what happened with Mr. Callum McLeod. Let's go to his onboard. So he's lifted through Blanchimont. I know his car can do that flat. Let's see what happens on the braking. Oh, he just outbraked himself. That's massively unfortunate that happened for him. He was able to get back. As I can see, as the replay cut back over to live action. We'll have a look from Mr. John Crane's car. He is slowly. He's trying to stick with Heiko, but Heiko is pulling away. As you can see, Mr. Adam Friday is unfortunately on lap 4. No, he's just started his 5th lap now, as the other guys are on lap 6. And halfway through, so unfortunately that did put him back quite a way. So he was stationary for 61 seconds. Unfortunately, that looked like that was how much damage he had alone. So he still will have to take his mandatory pit stop. He was in the pit lane for a total of 83 seconds. Just shy of a minute and a half. What is the predicted time here? As we'll have a look over at Mr. Canester in his Ferrari. Also guys, next season the guys will either have to run a mandatory in-game livery or a full custom livery that I am willing to make for them. As you can see, Mr. Callum McLeod has a full custom livery that I did myself. Mr. Heiko Sherman, he has a custom livery from Whipperman Racing, that's the team he drives for. So we'll either have full custom liveries as you're seeing with these two lads, or they'll have to have a run an in-game livery like Mr. Adam Friday here in the Lexus. Just so we're not looking at so much plain looking cars, so there will be some nice liveries hopefully out on track for next season. So unfortunately Mr. Adam Friday is quite a way back, as we look back from Mr. Heiko Sherman as we send sparks flying, going through a rouge as he flies up Radion. As he goes pelting along the Camel Straight. You can see Mr. John Crane in the background, trying to stick with him. He's keeping within the 5 seconds. So a small mess up in the pit stop, and that could be Mr. John Crane in front of Mr. Heiko Sherman, as we have just 15 seconds until the pits will open. Again, they will have to take their mandatory pit stop with a tyre change. As the pits now have opened up for the guys in game, they would have been notified. Mr. Adam Friday comes straight in. So Mr. Adam Friday was literally right at the entrance of pit lane as soon as that opened. I'm just going to take a quick break. I just need to have a quick drink, and then I'll be back. And we are back. So Mr. Heiko Sherman is staying out for another lap. Mr. John Crane is also staying out. We'll click back over to Mr. Callum McLeod. He's currently in 3rd place in the McLaren. So the guys have got a bit more comfortable with the sim over the time. I know some of the guys coming into here were worried about not having enough time in ACC. This is a Callum McLeod, is going to stay out as well. I do have a 10-minute window, so we'll have roughly 2 to 3 laps of time that they'll have to get this pit stop done. Because even if they get into the pit by a couple of seconds, it might not count. We are still not sure on this. We have to get clarification from Kunos about what classes as served their mandatory pit stop, as Mr. Adam Friday is now out the pit stop. His pit was clear. Hence now the green bar next to his name. So Adam Friday is going slow, but he's not going slow. We can hear him in the background there. He is accelerating. So we are getting lots of false white flags. Will be something I will bring up with the developers. So we'll have a look over at Mr. Kenner's step as he comes into Laycombe. Mr. John Crane is still within about 5 seconds. And Mr. Heiko Sherman running right on the curb, just where he needs to be there to get the most smoothest way through curve pool threat. As they are now thundering their way along, coming up to Blanchimont. Right on the edge there. Don't want to go too wide because you don't want to make your lap dirty. It's Mr. Heiko Sherman is staying out. We'll have a look at Mr. John Crane. Mr. John Crane is coming into the pits. So Mr. John Crane is getting his pit stop in early. Oh, I do believe Mr. John Crane is going to get a penalty for that. He was speeding. If it does come up through, so we've got this Heiko Sherman flying up through. Oh, look at Mr. Callum McLeod. Callum McLeod is staying out on track, so he'll gain a place now. Well, Mr. John Crane is in the pits. So we will keep an eye to see what penalty is enforced by the game. I do believe it will be a stop go 30 for Mr. John Crane. If it is, I will reduce that penalty to a in-game 10-second penalty. Just due to the fact of the penalties here are too harsh, especially for a small grid like we have tonight, especially considering these guys are, again, some of them are still extremely new to Assetto Corsa Competizione. As Mr. Ken Estep has now overtaken Mr. John Crane, whilst Mr. John Crane is in the pits. Let's see Callum McLeod coming through Bruxelles. Come down into Speaker's Corner. Just went a little bit too wide there. Does want to gain time. So if you have just joined us, this is the ACC League here with the guys from the Simpit. I am your host, Mr. Mike Vowles. Guys, this is their final round of the season. I will now click into Mr. John Crane as he is exiting the pit lane. I'll go into game just to see if there was a penalty applied. So there was no penalty implied by the game, so we are lucky there. We don't have to remove it. So we are back now, fully in line with where we need to be. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join me next season in the commentary box, let me know. I am looking to do commentary with someone, even pop in and out sometimes with drivers. So I will be talking to the Simpit bosses about having a channel for interviews. So whilst they're in the pit lane, I can drag them into the chat, have a quick word with them, let them get back out on circuit, see how everyone's doing. So at the end of the race, we will have a chat with Mr. Heiko Sherman. As Mr. John King gets very loose there, Mr. Ken Estep is now in the pits. He's currently going along pit lane. So Mr. John Crane's pit stop was 32 seconds, well, 32.7 seconds long. Just on the edge where it needed to be. So his lap pit was valid. He did change tyres. So next season we'll be throwing even more randomness at this, guys. There'll be more daytime races, more nighttime races, more weather races. We may even have races that the weather changes during the race, so the guys will have to keep an eye on that. For those heavy changes races, we might even take out the pit window, just make sure that the guys have to do a pit stop. It's again, it's one of the rule books that we are looking at changing. As Mr. Heiko Sherman is now into pit lane. Yeah, so he slows down just right on the line. Maybe he's a little bit beforehand actually. Ken Estep, he is still in the pit lane. Mr. Callum McLeod, I don't believe he can get around in another lap. I think he will have to pit this lap. Yes, as he makes a dive into pit lane as well. So now it's just to see if who makes their pit stops correctly and who messes up. So Mr. Adam Friday looks like he's stuck in gear. As he's gone along the start straight there. I'm not able to shift up. But now his gearbox does seem to be working again. So that is very confusing. So Mr. Kenner step, his pit stop is a valid pit as well. As he's now coming through Laycom. So we've just got to make sure that Mr. Callum McLeod and Mr. Heiko Sherman's pit stops are valid stops now. So Ken was stationary for 38 seconds, unfortunately. Nearly 39 seconds actually, so nearly 9 seconds lost through the pit stop from your ideal pit time. As we see a little swap there for leaders, Mr. The pits decided to go, no, Callum's in first place, and they went, no, Heiko's actually in first place, so Heiko's now out of the pit lane. Heiko's pit stop was 33 seconds long. So Mr. John Crane actually gained a little bit of time there in the pits. Gained nearly a second in the pit lane. I think Mr. Heiko Sherman does have him covered. Really pushed it in those laps before the pit. As he has got a 6 second line, so everyone now has taken their mandatory stop. We are in the closing stages now. It does show Callum McLeod having the yellow flag. I do believe he is just coming onto the Campbell Straight. He is moving on my leaderboard, so he's not stationary. He is moving. It's just the game information coming up through ACC TV that he is slow, even though in game and on track there is no white flags. So like I said, I will be taking this to ACC TV and going, guys, there is misinformation coming out of these. So we'll have a look currently at the manufacturers. So we have BMW from Aston Martin, from McLaren, from Ferrari, from Lexus. As we look back here from Mr. John Crane's car. So we will see some sparks there coming through. So guys, as you can see, have completed their pit stop, hence why there's another one in this box. And the orange box has dropped away and it's now showing green. Have a look at their last stop times. This is the length of time they went from pit entry to pit exit. As you can see, Mr. Ken Estep lost, unfortunately, the most amount of time in the pit lane on the official stops. Obviously, Mr. Adam Friday did have to take that stop earlier for damage. So the quickest in the pit stop was Mr. John Crane. I do believe. We'll switch back over to looking at the gaps. So Mr. John Crane is 6.2 seconds behind Mr. Heiko Sherman. A further 30 seconds behind, unfortunately, is Mr. Callum McLeod in the McLaren. But he is sticking with it. Unfortunately, he made a mistake coming into the bus stop. Just outbraked himself. Mr. Ken Estep is being his normal self, being Mr. Consistent. Unfortunately, the pace is a little bit slower, but again, like I said, we are open to all levels of drivers, from esports pro drivers right until the person who's literally bought the game today. We do not mind, we will cater, we will help you. So Mr. Callum McLeod gets very squirrely coming off the curb there. It's one of the curbs that either you can ride and get away with, or you do not want to touch, depending on your car and also depending on your setup. It started on Friday, our friend from Trinidad and Tobago. Fortunately, like I said, he has had an incident where he had to get the repairs done onto his car, so he is a lap down from everyone on the grid, unfortunately. But he is not giving up, he is still going through. As he comes up through Radion, you see the sparks there coming off the bottle of his car. So we'll switch over to Mr. Heiko Sherman. As we can hear the noise of the Aston Martin braking it there in the background. You can see there's the gap there for first and second on track. This is also P1 and P2 in the championship. But with this consistency that Mr. Heiko Sherman is showing here, he is going to take the championship unless, like I said, the only way he can not win the championship is if he completely does not finish this race. Any way of him finishing will bring him home the championship. So guys, I do have the chat open. If you want to say anything, please drop a message. I will respond to you. As I said, guys, Mr. Heiko Sherman here, Mr. Callum McLeod and myself are racing for charity on Sunday. It's for Ukraine. The race is on Paul Ricard. It has every driver you can name under the sun driving. We have ourselves driving. You have George Boothby driving. He's now taking part in a Nissan, not in the BMW. He's teamed up with a few people, very fast drivers as well. You have Jardier taking part. You have Darking taking part. You have Niels Nyox taking part. You have Aris himself, the guy who is the head of handling for Kunos. He's taking part. It's his community race at the end of the day. Plus, you have Tortellini. He's taking part in the Porsche Cup car. So yes, the Porsche Cup car. So you have GT3s out on track, what you're seeing today. You have GT4s out on track. I don't think anyone signed up with a GT4 car. You have the Ferrari Challenge car, with the new ones at the newest DLC, the fastest car down the back straight of Paul Ricard. It does struggle though with braking and turning. You also have the new Lamborghini Super Trofeo Evo 2 taking part. You have the Porsche 992 Cup car taking part. As I said, Mr. Tortellini, Mr. Magic Malinowski, he's taking part. You also have us taking part. I like to say us because this is the car we're in. We are in the BMW M2 TCX car. As Mr. Heiko Sherman's just gone even faster pumping out now a 2 minutes 20.427. Pushing that much time now in with just over 10 minutes to go left of this race is a very impressive feat. Definitely is going to help with those new tyres that he put on a couple of laps ago now. As you can see now, it has become quite daylight here now, as it is in game 5:39 AM. The guys have been racing now for 35 minutes. They've still got just over 10 minutes to go. Sorry, just under 10 minutes to go. I do apologise. So track temperature has gone up by 1 degree now, 23 air and 23 track. There is no sign of rain anywhere in the skies, which is very nice for the drivers here. As we see on board Mr. Adam Friday here, we do see, I do believe Mr. Callum McLeod, no, Mr. Ken Estep's just in front of him. But Mr. Adam Friday is a lap down from Mr. Ken Estep. Adam Friday is on lap 12, Ken Estep is on lap 13. The top three are already on their 14th lap. So Mr. Adam Friday, even though he can pass Mr. Ken Estep here, he still will be a lap down. And when he does get in front, he will be shown blue flags. But unlike F1, this is what so many people get confused at when you see blue flags. Blue flags just mean there is a faster car approaching. Do not defend. In F1, it's blue flags, get out of my way. In GT racing, and also in a few other racings as well, it is just there's a faster car approaching from behind. Do not defend into a corner. As Mr. Igo's got even faster now. Igo's just put in a 20.115. As Mr. John Crane has also done it into the 21s as well. His lap was a 21.5, so 4 tenths slower. Mr. John Crane is unfortunately falling back now by 10 seconds. It's a Heiko. But yes, here, if Mr. Adam Friday does get past Mr. John Crane, Mr. Ken Estep, sorry, I do apologise, he will be shown blue flags. He is a faster car though, so he will not have to go, okay, I'm in front of him, there's blue flags, I have to let him by. No, if he can pull away from him, it does not matter if you get blue flags or not. The blue flags will be more important if we do a multi-class race at any time in this game, because it still means faster car approaching. Do not defend. You do not have to get out the way. It's for the faster car who's approaching to go around you. You stay on the racing line. You be a very predictable driver. If you've got your indicators mapped to your controls, like I do myself, I indicate to say which side of the track I'm staying. So if the racing line is on the left hand side, I'll indicate that I'm staying left. You go to my right. If I know for a fact you're going to dive me on a corner, I'll make sure that I ease off and I let you go up the inside nice and clearly, that I'm not going to affect you. I'm not then going to try to re-overtake you in through the corner or the exit or anything like that, because that's the worst thing you can do, is just literally just let them have the time, let them go, but be a predictable driver. That's all we ask. That's all that every league asks for from blue flagged drivers, is just be aware what's going on around you. That's all everyone asks for. And also, if you do have a crash, hold your brakes. You'll be surprised how many people still don't know, if they have a crash, to put their foot on the brake. It's so easy to do. But make sure, if you have a crash, get on that brake. Even if you're sitting in the middle of the track, if you're sat there, people will be able to see you. If they don't see you, it's their fault. They're not paying attention to yellow flags. So we will move over to the leader. I believe he It's absolutely wringing the neck of this BMW M4. I will be making it so he can't drive it next season, just to annoy him. Nah, I can't do that. Any driver can drive what car they like to drive. We might add some manual BOP in the future, just to try to make the pack a little bit tighter, depending on how big our grid is for next season. We'll also be dabbling in doing multi-class, not by GT3, GT4, but in GT3 itself. So we can have different stages of drivers racing for a title, basically, in their category. It will be something, again, I will be talking with the Simpit owners about. I do believe it will be something great, as Mr. Adam Friday has got a yellow flag shown again. What has happened now? Oh, he got loose. Coming into curve pull threat. We will go further back. I just want to see what happened there, so I will have to go back to 30 seconds back. Oh, he just got a bit too much on the power. So he got on the power a little bit too early there behind Can. Touched the rumble strip and it unsettled the car. So unfortunately that's a him issue, not an us issue. As we'll switch over back over to Mr. Heiko as the replay ends, as it switches back to him. Unfortunately I cannot stop the replay after we've had a look at it. I've got to let it play out. So looking forward from Mr. Adam Friday out. He comes up full rally on. Very nice line through there then from him. Let's have a look on Mr. John Crane as he's coming through the bus stop. Currently got 3 minutes and 20 seconds, 25 seconds to go. We should see another 2 laps. Because even if Mr. Heiko Sherman does slow up, I don't think he's going to be able to slow up enough and retain first place and not be able to do another lap. Definitely not with 3 minutes to go. So there will be 2 laps left in this race. As you can see, guys, the cars are getting dirty from the rubber flicking up onto the cars. This is one of the good things about endurance racing on ACC. In any type of racing, actually, anything that's a long distance, you can see the cars getting dirtier over time. Mr. John Curry is currently up on his time. He's currently 4 tenths up on his best lap. If he currently stays at the pace that he's doing, he might. He's starting to slowly catch in Heiko. I don't believe he's got enough in him though, unfortunately. There is a 1.3 second gap from their fastest laps. As we see Mr. Kenneth coming under pressure again from Mr. Adam Friday. Mr. Adam Friday has dropped down to his main lights, doesn't need his endurances on anymore. He can make the pass, like I said, he will be showing blue flags as he goes by. As you see the marshal there, waves the blue flag as Mr. Adam Friday is now in front. The flag will be shown from, what's he still in a second? The marshals there on the start line showing him the blue flags, as well as there on the exit end of the pit lane. But like I said, guys, unfortunately, that is not full position. Mr. Adam Friday is a lap down from having a crash early on in the race. Well, unfortunately, he took himself out of contention. Plus, also, he had a pilot that happened. He was right in front of another car that, unfortunately, the other car went straight into him. So we will turn off the autopilot on our broadcast system. We will sit on board in the passenger seat looking over at Mr. Heiko Sherman as he is on the final lap here of the final round of the Simpit ACC League. presented by simracing.gp, who are our server hosts. Unfortunately, we did have issues with our server tonight. We had to restart it twice just to get it to show. It's unfortunate. It's the first time I've had the issue. But you click a button, it will try to restart, and then it will pop up. So unfortunately, it does take a little bit of time. So we're a little bit late starting tonight. Maybe by about 10-15 minutes or so. We are currently now just come up to the end of the first season here. Mr. Heiko Sherman will pretty much guarantee now, unless he has a disconnects for some reason, will take the championship as well as the win here at Spa-Francorchamps. He comes through Blanchard, down into the bus stop chicane for the final time. As he crosses the line to take the win here in the Simpit ACC League. Congratulations to Mr. Heiko Sherman. He takes the win here as well as the win in the championship. So congratulations to him. We'll flick over to Mr. John Crane. He's come home to the second, and it's second in the championship. So congratulations to him as well. So we see Mr. Heiko Sherman in the background there, getting those donuts out in victory. Congratulations to him. Mr. Callum McLeod coming home here. Now coming also through Blanchimont for the very last time for the season. Runs a little bit wide. Let's hope that doesn't give it a track penalty. As we hear the fireworks going off here at the wonderful Spa-Francorchamps. McLeod comes home for third place in the season. Also, I believe that would bring them third place in the championship as well. Oh, that Ferrari splitter view is not a very nice one there. So we'll let the guys finish. We'll switch back over to Mr. Heiko. Congratulations to him. I think he is trying to pop those tyres. Mr. John Crane is also there at the end. Mr. Callum McLeod is throwing some donuts out as well. Mr. Adam Friday's now just coming down into the bus stop for the final time for the season. Mr. Ken Estep has gone off track. Oh no, he's just going slow. So Mr. Adam Friday comes home, unfortunately in fifth in the race. But congratulations for him for taking part. So Ken Estep, did he run out of? Is he going to run out of fuel and not make the end of the race? Oh no, Mr. Ken Estep, has he run out of fuel before the end? Oh no, unfortunately. But lucky for him, he still will take home fourth. Guys, again, congratulations to the winners. We'll switch over to another screen here. And I will jump into the chat and also see how the guys are doing. So, Heiko, congratulations on the championship. The only way John Crane could beat you tonight is if you had a disconnect. It's the only physical way Mr. John Crane could have won a championship. You mastered the championship all season long. So, yeah, just been very, very close all the way through from you two. But congratulations. I think, Ken, have you run out of fuel by any chance? Oh! Well, lucky for you, Mr. Adam Friday was a lap down because he did have a massive incident earlier on where, unfortunately, Mr. Brandon Skinner went straight into the side of him at the top of Radion. So, but you will technically still come home in fourth place, even though the game hasn't classed it. You will come home in fourth. So, yeah. Yeah. So, guys, on the stream, these have been the guys who have been taking part. You've got Mr. Heiko Sherman in chat. You've got John Crane, Ken Estep, and Mr. Callum McLeod. They've been in chat talking with each other all the way through the race. So, from myself as the broadcaster and these guys who have been taking part tonight, this has been the Simpit. We'll see you on the track. Take care.